So Dan, let's kind of go back to what all the changes are
Yeah.
happening. As somebody who works within the mechanism of it all, are you excited about the extra money that's coming in, and where do you think what direction do you think it's taking us into?
That's a brilliant question, Mark. And I think that at the moment, I think it's really difficult to answer that really with any certainty. Look, I think that obviously the host teams are going to get a bigger piece of the pie than the non-host teams. I think there's a separate debate to be had about the fairness of that. But that's a done deal. It's not changing. I think there's going to be some form of guidance or ring fencing of the money so that you can't just go and say, I want to go and pay Virat Kohli £1 million to come and play county championship cricket for me, or something like that. 5 games in the county championship. I don't think you can do that. I think it's going to be done more on like infrastructure spending and debt clearing debt and stuff like that. So what it should do is really give all counties that opportunity to be debt free, but also create an environment where they can be more self sustaining. Because obviously, we know, it might be an unpopular view, but it's true. County cricket does not pay the bills. 4-day cricket does not pay the bills. Blast is where they make most of their money disproportionately to the other two formats. But what could they do to be more self sustaining? Which could be, for example, setting up investing in conferencing facilities or hotels and bars and flats and whatever it might be to get as much off pitch income as you could possibly have. And that eventually then becomes sustaining and probably a little bit more of a passive income stream than cricket revenue. So I think that there's exciting things on the horizon for quite a few teams. We've already seen a few teams discuss new grounds or big investment projects. So Warwickshire just announced the new hotel that they're building, across one of the stands at Edgbaston. So that's an exciting project for them and ultimately us at Birmingham Phoenix as well, just to see how that develops. So I think it's overwhelmingly positive, and I think that it reinforces the clear view that I had, which was always from the start. And a lot of people who are pro 100, like myself, are accused of having a biased agenda, and I don't think that in my situation, I don't think that's true at all. I think it was very, very obvious the way that franchise cricket was going that England needed a franchise comp. Now you can quibble about whether it's 100 balls or 120 balls, but they needed a franchise comp to be in line with industry standard. And a blast is too big in terms of the amount of fixtures and the amount of teams and the dilution of quality for that to be a reasonable mechanism for that. So I wholeheartedly backed the creation of a franchise tournament in England. But I think as well, it's really important to note that the this should be done to benefit the counties, and I think it is. And also, a lot of people are focusing on the fact that the tournament was like maybe loss making for the first couple of years or whatever, and banding figures around like 20 million losses. Well, I said at the time, and I'll say it again now, and I've been proven right, is that most businesses, if you could sell a business, which is it's not the business, it's just the teams. It's not the running of the league. The league would be worth a lot more as well. Yet that we're not even considering the sale of the league. I mean, if I had 20 million to lose over a couple of years, and I knew that after that I could sell the product or a little bit of the product for $1 billion or £1 billion, sorry, I should say. I would happily take that risk, right? And you look at all of the big companies that are set up around the world, like Uber and Twitter and businesses like that. They don't make money to start with. They are making money much further down the line, or they're losing money but deriving a huge market valuation. And I think that you could see that was what the 100 was going to do. And I think that the people who are criticising it for short-term loss making quite short-sighted and probably had other agendas.
Have you, as a member of Birmingham Phoenix staff yet? Have you heard from Tom Brady?
Not yet, not yet. But hopefully we'll get the opportunity to do that in the future. It'd be fantastic. Obviously, that's one of the exciting parts of this, where you get to network and meet with renowned people around the world in different sports and stuff. And if the opportunity comes to learn best practice from the American sports side of things, or Birmingham City FC, then see how they operate. That'd be fantastic for me. I think the opportunity to knowledge share across multiple sports, I think, is really exciting.
Nick, what's your kind of take on the role that county cricket can play in the English cricket ecosystem going forward?
Look, I think it's the bedrock of the English game, and people often talk about county cricket like it's some obsolete thing, but it's very easy to forget that it's still the breeding ground. It's still where players are developed, right? And so it serves a huge role. And we were talking the other day, weren't we, about the influence that 4-day cricket skills have on white ball skills. And I think that you see that a lot, that players benefit. So I do think county cricket still has a role to play. I actually think that with the sort of birth of live streams on YouTube that we've seen over the past few seasons, it's much more followable, and that actually county cricket is in a way not in as bad a state as a lot of people make out. I think the Blast is a serviceable, decent, enjoyable competition, and that you're getting more and more people following the county championship. It's, people have been talking about the death of county cricket for the past 100 years, and it still keeps battling on. So I think that county cricket can still play a role. I guess the issue is, which Dan touched on, is that the kind of chasm that's developing between those teams who are at the bottom of Div 2 in the county championship and the big powerhouses, your Surreys, your Somersets, that gap doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And I know there are teams who have not won a lot of games in the county championship for 2-3 years running. And so how that is dealt with, it needs some future planning. I don't love the current 2-division structure. I think a sort of 3 of 6 would work better, but I've heard people criticize that. I think it's going to take nimble thinking, but I mean, county cricket's you're never going to get 40,000 people turning up to the Oval day after day for a 4-day game. But I don't think that necessarily means that it's a defunct product.
Well, I mean, if they can get Virat Kohli in, if they pay
that's a start.
I mean, you look at the MLS, and the whole league pays for Lionel Messi to play for Miami. And I don't know, if you might be in a situation where basically the 100 end up paying for big international players to come and play 4-day cricket for counties somewhere down the road, and maybe that might be something that kind of gets the ball rolling. I mean, if you were going to bring one of the big stars, I'd suggest don't give them to Surrey. Go give them to Leicestershire, or one of the smaller counties, and kind of build from the bottom, as it were.
Send Kohli down to Glamorgan.
Yeah, Kohli and Marnus. Yeah, play for Glamorgan would be quite something, wouldn't it? We've actually seen some quite big signings the last few days in county cricket, haven't we? And we're also getting leaks about who may or may not be arriving for the 100, and it instantly feels that the money's arrived, and it instantly feels like it's just gone up a notch